Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome to my channel Beyond Headlines Current Affairs by Lakshmi. Our topic today is the US Hire Act 2025. So, on the ongoing discussion of Indian and US trade tariff situation, this new act proposed by Bernie Moreno, the Republican senator, has come on as a further act which could impact the Indian IT sector. So let us look into the details of the act. So the Hire Act is halting of international relocation of employment. So that is called as Hire Act. International relocation of halting of international relocation of employment. So this act is basically supposedly uh, being introduced to protect the domestic jobs, and this act proposes to impose a 25% tariff on the payments made by the US companies to the foreign service providers. So that means any job or any project that is being outsourced will attract 25% tariff. And if you look at it, already the tariff war is going on. That is 50%. And yeah, it is definitely affecting Indian exports. And on the top of that, if this is added, it is going to be a big burden to Indian exports and Indian economy as a whole. So, why? As I said earlier, protection of domestic jobs. So, how far this act is going to protect the domestic jobs? So, first of all, when foreign workers, this is a very blanket term, foreign workers, which includes students with F1 visas who are going to work. So, even if the 25% tariff is going to be imposed on those wages also, then it will be very difficult for them to earn their living there. So that is also one of the aspects. And the offshore will affect, with respect to India, we are going to be affected, no doubt about that. And the proposed 25% tax for foreign service providers is for like if it is for every other international foreign student also, but majority of them it is going to be effective for affecting for India, because majority of Indian students, if you look at the American universities, you see most of the Indian students over there. And increase in effective cost. So it is not only going to affect Indian IT sector, but also the domestic jobs that are really trying to protect, and entrepreneurs who are engaged in this one, they will have to shell out more by 60%, which is not a good thing for the economy. So 60% after uh, taxes. That means they have to look after the wages, the operational costs, and everything. So that will affect them. The operational costs, the loss of expertise, and the change that's making, the time frame, everything is going to affect the onshore guys also. So it is not that only India is getting affected, even the whole process gets affected with this law. And let us not forget, outsourced jobs are cheaper, much cheaper, if not cheaper, when compared to the kind of payments the domestic guys receive. So that much of profits are cut down, which again will affect the economy. And no corporate company is ready to kind of lose out on that thing. And this act is not something new that's come up today, but in the past also acts similar to this have been come up, but the corporate lobby has very uh, vehemently tried to stall this kind of acts. But let us see how it goes now. And apart from that, the 50% duties that is already, as I discussed, the tariff thing that is being imposed on the import of hardware. So no IT sector can thrive without the hardware, and by 50% tariff imposition on hardware, and again we have another 25% on the payments that are being made for foreign workers, and it all works out to be more than 60% for effective cost, which is not a good sign for any company. So this might trigger a panic situation in US. Let's hope it doesn't. So we have to look at it. And uh, the F1 visa holders, that is the international students, as I said, these guys have something called as optional practical training. So these guys are paid in this process, and whatever wages there is a kind of minimum wages only, not more than that. And if the taxes or are imposed on this kind of wages also, then it will be difficult for the international students to continue studying. And in this aspect, so India has to come to the no, fact that studying in US for the students, especially the STEM students. And STEM means again um, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics students. These guys, if the tariffs are imposed in this way, it is going to be difficult, and uncertainty also prevails. So they have to look at other options like Canada, Germany, and Australia, in fact. So that we have to do that reality check thing. And also, apart from that, if you look at American or the domestic job sector, there is a gap between the demand and supply for areas like biotechnology, AI, and cyber security. So in India, they were not having that many of demand supply gap is high, because they are not that having that many people who can engage in this kind of developing technologies. So and India is ready actually with this kind of technology, and they can become a skilled workforce to reckon with, and culturally integrated course. So it's beneficial for the Americans to engage Indians in this kind of projects. The only thing that they're projecting is the protection of domestic jobs. I don't know how far that is going to be effective, because, as I said, the demand supply thing is huge, and here is where the Indians can chip in. And yeah, and Indian IT sector revenue, if you look at it, I said the Indian IT sector will be impacted, yes, because 60% of its revenue is generated from the export of software. So definitely it's impacted. And we have to look at how the impact resonates in the Indian counterparts, and how the companies are going to react to such things. And yeah, definitely, as much as you can want to protect the domestic jobs, world has moved on from becoming a protective economy to a global economy, wherein the factors and players who are involved in this whole process cannot be ignored. So if we want to go back, if we have to go back to a protective economy, every country can do that. And again, it will not be helpful actually to any country, because once we have seen the fruits of global economy, we cannot go back. So that is one thing. And yeah, so that's about it. Please leave your opinions in the comment box, and please like my channel, subscribe my channel, and share my content. Thank you.